Your dog isn't calmer, they're suppressed. They're still feeling everything. The fear, the stress, the overwhelm. They just no longer have the ability to show it. Most commercial dog foods are severely lacking in omega-3s, which means this is somewhere most dog owners can make an immediate, meaningful difference. Research has consistently shown that aversive or punishment-based training methods raise stress hormones and make anxiety worse over time. If your dog has anxiety, medication has probably crossed your mind at some point. Maybe your vet has already suggested it, maybe your dog is already on something. Either way, I want to talk to you about this today, because there are things most dog owners are never told about how these medications actually work. And once you understand it, I think it's going to completely change how you approach your dog's anxiety. Here's the story most owners experience. Your dog is anxious, you go to the vet, they prescribe something, and within a day or two, your dog seems calmer, quieter, more settled. And you feel this huge wave of relief. Finally, something worked. But here's what's actually happening in a lot of those cases. Your dog isn't calmer, they're suppressed. They're still feeling everything. The fear, the stress, the overwhelm. They just no longer have the ability to show it. And this isn't just my opinion as a vet. Studies have actually demonstrated this. One of the most commonly prescribed anxiety medications, acipromazine, has been shown to have no anti-anxiety properties whatsoever. None. It's a sedative. It physically immobilizes your dog. But their mind is still fully aware and completely unprotected. Veterinary behaviorists have a term for this. They call it the chemical straitjacket. Your dog is lying still on the floor, and you think they're finally at peace. But inside, they may be just as terrified as they've ever been. Possibly more so, because now they can't even move away from whatever is frightening them. That's not relief. That's a mask. And it's one of the things that troubles me most about how anxiety in dogs is routinely handled. Now, not every medication works exactly this way. There are others, SSRIs, certain antidepressants, that work differently and can have a more genuine calming effect. But even with those, there's a problem that almost no one talks about. When the medication wears off, or when owners try to reduce the dose, anxiety often comes back, and it frequently comes back worse than before. This is known as the rebound effect. And the reason it happens is actually very logical once you understand what these medications are and aren't doing. They're managing symptoms. They're not fixing anything. While the medication is doing its job on the surface, the actual cause of the anxiety is sitting completely untouched underneath, and it's getting stronger. So you're not just back to square one. In many cases, you end up further behind than when you started. Which brings me to the question that I think is the most important one in this whole conversation. What is actually causing the anxiety? Because if we don't understand that, we can't fix it. We can only keep chasing symptoms. Inside your dog's brain, there's what researchers call an anxiety circuit. It involves several regions working together, including the amygdala, which is your dog's emotional alarm system. When your dog encounters something stressful, this circuit fires. It triggers a flood of stress hormones. It heightens the senses. It kicks the whole body into fight or flight. In a healthy, balanced dog, this system switches on when it needs to and then switches off again. But in an anxious dog, something has gone wrong with that switch. Every stressful experience reinforces the anxiety circuit and makes it more efficient. Think of it like a path through a forest. The more it gets warped, the more worn and clear it becomes, until eventually your dog's brain is defaulting to anxiety almost automatically, even in situations that pose no real threat. And here's the critical thing. The more this happens, the harder it becomes for your dog to absorb anything new. Training, reassurance, routine. It's like trying to pour water into a bottle with the lid still on. Something is blocking it. That something is an overactive anxiety circuit that has never been addressed at its source. So what controls the anxiety circuit? This is where most conversations about dog anxiety stop, and where I think they need to go further. There's a system in your dog's body called the endocannabinoid system, the ECS. It exists in all mammals, and its job at the most basic level is to maintain balance throughout the body, regulating mood, stress response, sleep, inflammation, and immune function. Think of it as your dog's internal regulator for well-being. The ECS directly interacts with the anxiety circuit. When it's functioning properly, it acts like a natural brake, helping your dog process stress and return to a calm, balanced state. But when the ECS is out of balance, which can happen because of genetics, chronic stress, poor diet, or past trauma, that brake stops working. The anxiety circuit runs without anything to slow it down. Your dog gets locked into a state of chronic stress and fear that they genuinely cannot get themselves out of. Not through willpower, not through training, and not through time. And here's why this matters so much in the context of medication. Anxiety medication works downstream of all of this. It targets the output, the visible symptoms, the barking, the trembling, the destruction, but it never goes near the ECS. It never touches the anxiety circuit itself. The root cause stays broken, and a broken root cause will always find a way back to the surface. It's like taking the batteries out of a smoke alarm. The noise stops, but the fire is still burning. So what does actually work? I want to give you some things that are genuinely evidence-based and that I've seen make a real difference, because there isn't one single answer here, and anyone who tells you there is probably isn't giving you the full picture. The foundation is diet, and specifically omega-3 fatty acids. Research has shown that omega-3s, particularly DHA, play a neuroprotective role in the brain and have been shown to reduce anxious symptoms and stress hormones in dogs. But what makes this especially relevant is that omega-3s have been found to actually increase the expression of CB1 receptors, which are the key receptors in the ECS. So a good quality fish oil supplement isn't just supporting your dog's coat or joints, it's directly feeding the system that regulates their anxiety. And most commercial dog foods are severely lacking in omega-3s, which means this is somewhere most dog owners can make an immediate, meaningful difference. A dog who gets adequate daily exercise and lives within a predictable, stable routine has a fundamentally calmer baseline to work from. It's not a cure, but it is the ground everything else has to be built on. Third, and this is important if you're doing any training with an anxious dog, your approach matters enormously. This is where I've personally seen some of the most significant and lasting results in anxious dogs. Full spectrum CBD oil, when it's genuinely high quality and properly formulated, interacts directly with those CB1 and CB2 receptors in the ECS. It helps restore the balance and allows the anxiety circuit to finally start quieting down. It was actually the search for something like this that led me to develop Happy Forever oil with the team at Paw Origins. I spent years looking for a product I could genuinely stand behind and recommend to the owners I work with, and I couldn't find one that met the standard I needed. So I created it. It's not a sedative, it doesn't suppress anything, it works at the root. If you want to find out more or try it for your dog, you can visit paworigins.com. I'll put the link in the description below. Here's what I want you to take away from all of this. Anxiety in dogs is not simply a behaviour problem. It is a biological one. It lives in the brain and body, not just in the behaviour you see on the surface. Medication can have a role in acute situations. I'm not here to tell you that it's always the wrong choice. But as a long-term strategy, managing symptoms while the root cause deepens is not a solution, and your dog deserves better than that. When you address the biology, when the ECS is supported, when cortisol is coming down, when the anxiety circuit is no longer running at full speed, everything else gets easier. Training lands, reassurance works, your dog becomes the animal they were always capable of being. And that's what we're working towards together on this channel. If this was useful, please give the video a like. It genuinely helps other dog owners find this information when they need it the most. Subscribe if you want to keep learning, because we have a lot more coming.